Keo here from Stomvi, USA. A couple weeks ago, I drove up to San Francisco because Pacho Flores, was soloing with the San Francisco Symphony, doing the Arturo Marquez Trumpet Concerto and some other things. And there was a guy in the audience I was sitting kind of close to, and he heard me talking to my friend that I knew Pacho and this and that. And anyway, he asked me a question. He goes, "What's the deal with the 4 valve instruments?" Because Pacho played, I think, four of them on the Marquez, and I told him the things we've talked about before about easier to play and the alternate fingerings and that kind of stuff. And I'll put some links below so you can check that out some more for the first time if you want. And I said to the guys that it's really about the sound. And the reason Pacho plays an F cornet on a piece, for example, versus a G cornet, 4 valves that we make, is not because one is easier fingering in that key. It's because he wants that particular sound for that piece of music. And the guy said, "Wow, that seems kind of extreme, all these different instruments just to get different sounds." And I said, "Are you a trumpet player?" He goes, "Well, yeah, I am a trumpet player." And I said, "Well, what do you do?" He says, "Well, I play in a local big band and sometimes a local concert band and this and that. I'm a weekend warrior, but I really enjoy playing." And I said, "Well, you're really doing the same thing that Pacho's doing." He said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "You got a B-flat trumpet?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "You got a flugelhorn?" He goes, "Yeah, I got a flugelhorn." I said, "You got some mutes?" And he goes, "Yeah, I got mutes." And I said, "Well, you choose the trumpet versus the flugelhorn depending on the sound for the music, right?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Sometimes you put a mute in because the music wants that kind of sound, correct?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, you're doing the same thing. Pacho's just doing it on a different level or with more instruments or however you want to look at it." And he goes, "Well, yeah." He goes, I've been thinking about getting a piccolo trumpet." I go, "Well, that's for a different type of music and a different kind of sound." So we at Stomvi believe that the 4 valves are the future. And will they be the future? We don't know. We have to wait for the future to find out. But I'm going to make the assumption that a lot of you are familiar with this letter written on January 13th, 1921, from Herbert L. Clarke to Eldon Benj. And if you're not familiar with it, I'm going to read it. It's not very long. So it says, "Dear Mr. Benj, replying to yours of the 19th just received, would not advise you to change from cornet to trumpet, as the latter instrument is only a foreign fad for the time present, and is only used properly in large orchestras of 60 or more for dynamic effects and was never intended as a solo instrument. I never heard a real soloist playing before the public on a trumpet. One cannot play a decent song even properly on it, and it has sprung up in the last few years like jazz music, which is the nearest hell or the devil in music. It pollutes the art of music. Am pleased that you are making improvements in your playing. Keep it up and become a great cornet player. You have an equal chance with all the rest, but you must work for it yourself. Wishing you all the best of success, I remain, sincerely yours, Herbert L. Clarke." Well, that was in 1921, and no one knew if the future was going to be the cornet, the trumpet, or both. Well, here we are in 2022, and we'll see if in the future it's 3 valves or 4 valves or a combination of both. Have a great day.